You are listening to the Arcade Brothers only on the 4-eyed radio network The Fern.
Hi, this is Senior Esteban.
This is Kyle.
And this is Steve. And you're listening to another proud production of the 4-Eye Radio Network, also known as
The Fern.
For more great content, check out www.4eyeradio.com.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to another all-new episode of Arcade Brothers. I am your host, Player 1, along with my co-host, Player 2.
Kyle.
Is your mic on?
Kyle! Yeah, it's on.
Okay, there we go.
I'm just really quiet.
Okay, just making sure everything's going good. Of course, we are brought to you by America Joy Print Shop, the official sponsor of the 4-Eye Radio Network. Business cards, flyers, posters, banners, final cuts, car wraps, and more. Visit AmericaJoy.com for more information and tell them the Fern sent you. We're also brought to you by a brand new sponsor, Raven Designs. Illustrations and designs that fits your personality. I was like personal needs. For samples and inquiries, visit RavenCruise.com. As an example,
you need a logo. She'll do it.
Kyle and Steve is screwed up again. So, anyways, Kyle, what have you been up to since the last time we spoke?
I think last time we spoke, you were playing Smash Bros. And owning everybody.
Yes, it was pretty funny because we had a holiday party, which was a big hit. We had a lot of people playing the new Wii U Super Mario 3D World.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people loved the game. It was great to get other people's opinions, especially a lot of people who have never even played a Wii U. And I think I sold like 3 consoles that night. So Nintendo, you're welcome. But yeah, everybody was having fun, and then everybody wanted to play some Smash Bros. So we tossed in Brawl. And we start playing, and people are like, "Who was Link? Why did Link hit?" And then I turned around and go, "Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys, Smash Bros. Is my thing." So that's one of those games where I'm just like dominant at. Same with like the Mario Karts and stuff like that. It's like, look, you're the first or last. So, and if you're not first or last, so Kyle, what have you been playing lately?
I ended up playing a lot more Skyrim. That's all I've been trying to do is try to beat the game, and then that way I can move on to other things. I ended up, there's a site called gawk.com. It's where I ended up getting like a couple older PC games. Like I ended up getting Neverwinter Nights.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And things like that for really cheap too, because they're only like $4 or $5. So they ended up having a lot of promotions. So over the summer, they did a promo where you could get Torchlight free on your computer.
Oh, cool.
So I did that, and I was like, cool, that's great. So then just yesterday, they had a site only 48 hours sale, and it blew up. Like they ended up doing a Fallout 1, 2, and Tactics for free. You could download.
Oh,
so I just downloaded that too. So hopefully, probably by later today, I should try and play some of that as well. Because I never played the tactical games, but I had a friend in college who was really into it, and it could look cool, and I like the idea of it and stuff. So. It was basically like a Diablo, but with like the Fallout. Like that's how.
I remember hearing about those, but that's actually kind of cool that they started doing that now. It's really funny. I posted this on Arcade Bros. Speaking of the Fallout, because there was we talked about the fake trailer for Fallout 4,
right?
The fan made one and everything like that. But literally, we just spoke about it. Like, we recorded that Saturday, and before our episode went up on Tuesday, Monday, all these gaming sites were all like, "Oh, the Fallout 4 trailer is a fake." I'm like,
yeah, we
debunked this like a couple of days ago. Like, I'm like,
holiday vacations. A lot of them are on vacation, I guess.
I just want to say they're just not as great as we are.
Well, then what was cool is they did confirm that Fallout 4 is going to come out.
Yeah, Bethesda had a. So, did you watch the countdown? Because I think they released it. Was that what it was for?
The countdown was for the teaser trailer, and that would end up being the fake account. But what they just announced was that yes, like Fallout 4 is in the works, just to kind of tell everyone, like, yeah, we are working on it. So I guess they're saying Massachusetts is where it's going to be based out of.
Okay, because a lot of people thought it was going to be Boston.
That's what they thought, yeah. So it's like, well, I guess, like, Boston's going to be there, but they're not sure if it's really going to be, like, the whole thing or, like, just part of it.
That was going to take place in, like, the Civil War.
Yeah, I have no idea. Like, but that's the beauty of that whole saga is they could do, like, before the the fighting right in the middle, right at the end. They could do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like that's what I like about the video game universe. You can kind of do your whole that was like one of the things that just came out, and Raven and I actually watched a video on it. Was the timeline to Legend of Zelda, and they recently just had the Hyrulean book came out and actually split up the timeline. Like everyone thought it was a 2-timeline situation. It turned out to be a 3-timeline situation, and one of the timelines was actually Link died during the battle with Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time. So there was 3 ones where he won and went back. Then he had his childhood. There was the one, and then that split the timeline where he had childhood Link and adult Link, I guess, was the 2 timelines. But then there was a timeline, I guess Nintendo announced saying that if he died, the resurrection, then it became that's where we got literally so Link 2, Legend of Zelda 2 is actually the last one in that timeline. Then it's Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, so it's a weird kind of timeline, but I'm still trying to figure out where Link would have failed, I guess. But
then if you remember in the beginning of Wind Waker when they were talking about the Hero of Time.
Well, that's one of the timelines.
And it talks about how he never showed up or he never came back.
Yeah, he never came back because that's what they're talking about. Which is weird because that one is called this is the weird part. It's called the Kid Link timeline, right. And then there's the adult
Kid Link
or something like that, and that's with the Majora's Mask and some other.
I don't know where the Tingles timeline is. I mean, come on.
Yeah, what about Tingles?
He never gets enough.
He did not come back in the Skyward Sword. That was the biggest. There was even a guy who was dressed like Tingles in Twilight Princess. Yeah. So that's what's going on there. But yeah, I picked up actually Perfect Dark. They remade it. Well, not really remade it, but they revamped it for the Xbox. It was $1.99. They were doing some so Xbox and PlayStation right now, and even Wii are doing some pretty good holiday sales on their eShops.
Nice.
So definitely check those out. But yeah, it was funny just to play it again, just realizing having
my jam.
Well, not even that, but just having the controls the Xbox controls, and realizing oh yeah, that's right, I had to move up and down and everything with the C button, so now you have that extra joystick, so it's kind of a cool feel to it and stuff like that. Though I did get stuck because I forgot what I was doing, and I literally hit the power switch to a light switch, and then I had no idea. I was where's the light switch? And I was so I had to stop the game. I was all right, well, I failed this mission. But yeah, before we get into our show notes segments, let's do a couple of shout-outs. Kyle, what do you got for us?
A lot of these are all from Twitter. We have a lot of Twitter shout-outs. We have at Jellyman98, at TMC Icurd 12B42, AZ Maker House, at All Things Geeks, at By RD Forever, at Jedi Dash. We had at Faiju, because they added us again, Faiju, the Amazing Frog. We had at OMG_it's_Liam, at RPG_org, at Biomoto, which is BEAUMOTO, and then at Dice Master Feed, which is kind of like a Dungeon Master's feed guide about new releases for D&D and all that stuff.
Cool.
So they all gave us a recent shout-outs, follows, and tweets this week, so we want to give them a special thank you for
Very
following.
Cool.
Which, I forgot what we're up to now. I think we're up to 370-something. 372.
Apparently
and Toby failed the jump.
And Toby wants to join the podcast.
I'm on the podcast.
Hi, Tobes. I'm a kitty.
Smells like a dog.
Yeah, so without further ado, we'll jump into the show notes. Now, I know this show note's been up for a while, the new Dragon Age.
Inquisition, they actually have some, about 34 minutes of game footage.
Oh, cool.
So they show the graphics, they show how basically he said they took the realm of the first game, the realm of the second game, and then doubled that, and that's how big this is. Traveling wise, you're not gonna be stuck in one town. It
actually almost looks kind of like I just pulled it up. I'm watching the thing. Graphics look amazing.
Oh yeah.
It looks like it does actually have a compass at the top of the screen, so you got that going for you. Now, is this just going to be released for Xbox One, or are they actually doing both systems?
They haven't specified. I guess right now, as far as a lot of people were saying, it was in talks with Xbox 360 and PS4 or PS3. But then when the new systems got announced, it's I don't know if it got pushed back so it could be released on those, or if it is only out for the, only going to be out for those systems. So we'll have to just wait and see.
Now, do you think EA is going to be smart and try to, if they do release it on all consoles, do you think they're actually going to even attempt to release one for the Wii, or you think they're just going to bypass
that? They might. I would think that.
Because I remember in a recent story, EA even said,
I don't know, because like none of their other shit's selling. So yeah, they should probably branch out a little bit more.
What is this about? I'm probably gonna butcher this. The Segata SanShiro.
Yes, you have never experienced Segata SanShiro, and what it is it's a little video you'll probably want to watch at your time. We'll post it on the show because it's basically about the guy who became the spokesman for Sega Saturn and then eventually was part of Sega Dreamcast.
Okay.
So during the Sega Saturn when it came out, he was kind of like their mascot. Like Sega had Sonic, but this was like the mascot of the system.
Okay.
He was just this like samurai guy, and just the opening is great. Like when you watch this thing, he's running it with it on his back.
Yeah, I see that.
But watch what he does to the guy when they're fighting. I mean, it's just that ridiculous.
That's the guy who just explodes.
Well,
yeah, okay, we're gonna post this on the.
But it's all about that. Like, they're all about the different. It's about him and who he was. He was an actor. He was all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part is like the way that they got rid of him when Saturn didn't do so hot. And they're like, oh, we need to do something to save the image. He sacrifices himself to just stop a meteorite that was coming right for like Sega.
Oh yeah.
And like out of his ashes or out of his like stardust, what does it show? The Sega Dreamcast.
Oh okay.
And that's how that's how they released their new.
That's pretty funny. But yeah, I just like when he throws the guy, and you can
like,
clearly see it's a dummy, and it hits the guy, and it just explodes. This is the kind of humor we enjoy. I did like this. I saw this in the show notes. So the next Borderlands game is going to be made by Telltale.
Yeah, Telltale, I guess, is making the game, and it's actually more of like an adventure, like story adventure. It's not going to be like a shooter.
Okay.
It's going to be more of like Tales from Borderlands, and it's going to be all about like kind of like those characters we've seen. Where do they come from? Like, where is Pandora? Like, how did this come to be? Kind of thing. Definitely done in that kind of cartoonish style that they've been known for, Telltale, with their
which works because the Borderlands is already in like a cel-shaded kind of feel, like the artwork and everything like that. Which is funny because I remember if you hear stories about how when they're first developed them, they actually made it look realistic, and they said it just didn't fit like with the work. Like it just was like this looks like really weird. So then when they started doing the cel shading, they're like, oh, okay, this is like how the game is going to look and feel and stuff like that. So it worked out like I think better for them when they did that. So that'd be very interesting. I mean, these guys so far have not done anything wrong. Like I even heard that new game that came out, the Wolf Among Us. Everyone's been raving about that, and how it ends. Everyone's like been kind of pissed.
Yeah, because it's like, oh man,
and then you want to play more. So good for them. That should be actually kind of a cool take on it. I don't know how fans are going to feel about this because. A lot of people just like jumping in and just shooting a bunch of stuff, and I know we all know fanboys. They always kind of like, "What do we change?"
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird because didn't y'all vote for Obama anyway? So they gave you change, so
spare change.
Yeah, spare change.
I don't know. For me, it's like Borderlands 2 could only go so far, and I think like it's a good way to mix it up. Obviously, people who want to know more about the story. I mean, like. They're good. They're always going to do a shooter. Like there'll probably be a Borderlands 3 eventually down the line. But they're doing a lot of DLC. You know, with this version, I've seen a lot. Like lately, they had the turkey. They had the thing. They're now doing a Christmas one.
Oh, they're doing a Christmas one too.
They want to have like these giant snowmen kind of.
Okay, I like when they do that. Well, I still like. It sucks. I have to level up to be in the. I think I have to be like level 30, which I know. I think about 25, 26 or something like that. But I guess just to play the kind of like the D&D one that came out, which I really want to play. So, because I accidentally went to it because I was looking for something else, and then like all the characters were like, all the bad guys were like level 30, and I was like, oh crap.
Yeah, like damn.
So, but yeah, I love the Borderlands series. It's such a great game and stuff like that. So this would be kind of a cool take. Telltale has not steered me wrong from anything. Really, like I love the Walking Dead series. They are making a sequel to that. They're making season 2. Which will be amazing. I got to play the Wolf Among Us. Would be pretty interesting, and then so we'll see what happens. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And I know. Like I said, like it seems like it's something that they're trying something new, and I figured you kind of have to. I mean, the audience is growing up. You know, that's what a lot of people forget sometimes. Is like, yeah, you could do shooters till you're blue in the face, but like look at even Halo. Like Halo went from just being like a very rugged shooter. To then having such, like in the 4th game, having such a really deep, like in-depth kind of story. Like you couldn't have pulled that crap off on the first one. No one would have known what the hell you were doing. But
well, and even
built it to a point where like the audience has grown with you, so it's easier to tell.
And it's even funny because even with the first one actually wasn't even going to be ready during launch. That's why a lot of the levels were you going back because they didn't have enough levels for a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, they just had to run
because I remember, you would have to run back through some of the levels and stuff like that. Like I remember, I'm still playing like the anniversary one. Like, do you have that one?
Yeah, that was the one you got me.
Okay, because we should game on that one. Because I just remember I got to the one part where it's like the flood for the first time, and I don't know what it is, but in the first game the flood is just like hard as hell. Like in the other games, they seem to just have gotten like easier.
Yeah, they're just like.
But in this one, they're just like hard as hell. But that's actually a good point with the Halo. We still got to finish Halo 4 though. So
yeah.
We got a lot of stuff that we need to finish. Also, I saw this when I was the Nintendo 3DS had an update.
Oh.
And their new update, they had a couple of new apps now. You can get YouTube on it.
Okay.
You have Hulu now on it. They still had the Netflix already. But then they added now it links your account from your Wii system. So if you add money to either one of those accounts, it shows up on your account, purchases and stuff like that.
Like friends of yours that are on.
Yeah, it'll show you all the friends. Cool. You can actually now do the Wii universe with the 3DS. So now I could talk about like the Legend of Zelda, like the new one. You can write stuff, you can draw pictures. You can send that out into the Mii universe, which is really kind of cool. So Nintendo's really doing a lot of networking now with pretty much all their platforms now, which is kind of really cool. So that was a cool one, but when I was on the store, I noticed that Sega is releasing old Sega Genesis games, Sega games, in 3D. So you can actually now purchase, I think the newest game that's out right now is Sonic the Hedgehog. The original Sonic the Hedgehog is in 3D now. So you can play that game in a classic kind of 3D, with the popping out of the screen and stuff like that, which I thought was really cool. What I really like is the prices. They're not really going crazy with them. I think like some of the games are like $5.99, $3.99. Anything that's above that is like anything that's in retail right now. So if you wanted to purchase The Legend of Zelda and you want to go out to the store, you could just buy it for your system and download it, but that would be like the normal price of I think like $39.99 because it's a new release. Right. But a lot of the games, they've actually been doing pretty good with the prices, which I was actually that was like Earthbound was just released on the Wii U, and that's like $10.
Oh wow, that's pretty.
So they're not really. That's the weird part with Nintendo. As much as everyone gets mad at, it's like we can repurchase games, but they're really not kind of.
And they're more like you played it when you were young, and now you either have friends or siblings or maybe even children, and it's like you want them to experience some really good games. Like, yeah, you're gonna rebuy them, and you're buying them for $5. Like, you're not paying the $30 you had to back then.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I was also saying, like, there's a couple of games. Like, I still have my Super Nintendo, and I'm still building my collection. And there's certain games, like, if I could find them, I'll definitely pick them up. But some of them are way overpriced. Like, if I wanted to get Super Castlevania used, that's like about, I'm looking at maybe $50.
Don't even look at Super Metroid. It's like
that's the thing. I have Super Metroid on my Wii U, so it's like some of these games I already have. But like I could buy literally Earthbound and that for $10. Yeah. So that's $20 opposed to adding another $30 and just getting the actual physical cartridge. Now I get people that are like, oh, but no, it's imported over, and it's like it's still a freaking game. Shut up. It's not like I'm playing on the computer. As a mod
game as Nintendo.
Yes,
Nintendo.
But yeah, so that's a kind of a cool thing. They actually just released Link to the Past.
Oh, really?
On the Wii.
With the Four Swords or with?
No, just this was the original for the Super Nintendo, not the remake when they added like a couple of sounds and stuff like that when it came out for the Game Boy Advance.
But that's a fun game if you never got a chance to play that on the GameCube.
But it's really cool because I ended up getting it for free because Nintendo does these rewards when you
the club, right?
With the club and everything and that was one of the purchases. It was like 130 coins, and I have like 700 something coins or whatnot that always because they never run. This is what I like. They never run out, and you can always use stuff like that. And the cool thing they have to come back in stock, but they finally released. Excuse me.
The coffee.
They finally released the charging dock for the XL DSs. So once they come back in stock, I'll probably get one of those because that'll be like so many coins.
Pop it down, blink.
Yeah, and then you can just pop it down and not have to worry. So I thought that was kind of cool that they're doing that as well. So a lot of stuff going on with Nintendo. Also, of course, there's this whole story. PS4 outsells Xbox One during the month of November.
Yeah, it's funny because like Xbox reporting we sold so many copies, it's cool, and then PS4 was we outsold you because we came out a week before you, and we had a larger audience who wanted to pre-order you. They sold out of the pre-orders, and GameStop didn't do that with Xbox.
No, and Xbox. The funny part is Xbox. Then they said, Xbox outsold PlayStation on Black Friday, but it's like Xbox has actually been they've been releasing their consoles to try to make up their sales and stuff like that. And the funny part is
Their banana smells like your
Well, it's not even that. It's just like, we get it. There's going to be certain consoles. Obviously, the PS4 is in the running mate of probably being the best console, or the next gen console that's kicking butt or whatnot. But I mean, as like everyone's been saying, is like we've been saying, is like, yeah, I want one of the next gen consoles, but I'll kind of wait until there's actual games out for it.
Well, exactly. Like I think everyone's in the same boat where, like, yeah, running out and buying a $600 system if you have that funds available and you've never maybe had an Xbox like 360 or something, like it's good because I feel like they're great systems. Like I feel like they're really cool and they'll add value to your entertainment at home.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same token, like there's not much for them. Like I think a lot of people are doing the same bet where, like, I saw somebody post the other day saying like they were able to buy a PlayStation 3 and get all like the Drake series, the Uncharted's.
Yeah.
They were able to get like Ratchet and Clanks, like things like that. Though they have like all these titles that they can play and are going to get to experience those titles that are really like what would sell somebody on a PS4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, by the way, Uncharted coming out for PS4. Like people who are fans.
Yeah, like I'm probably that will be when I buy a PlayStation 4 is probably when Uncharted gets released.
They did a Gears of War, if they do like a Halo, that's when people are going to go out and buy the system, and like Titanfall, that's when people will really.
Yeah, so I would say a big increase is going to be next year. Even though Nintendo already kind of has a leg up because literally February their new Donkey Kong game comes out. I believe in March is going to be the new Mario Kart. And then I have a feeling also then the new Smash Bros. Is going to be coming out for two consoles of theirs. You know, they're going to have the DS one and they're going to have the Wii U one. So Nintendo kind of like, as much as everyone kind of threw them out of the gate, Nintendo actually sold a shit ton of consoles in the month of November.
Yeah.
Just because they have those package deal that's going on where it's like, oh, I get 2 games. Oh, I can get 1 game. Oh, I can get like
they said
all this
the
stuff.
thing that really helped Sony too was, I guess, their Vita dropped, and now they're having that bundle too where you can buy a Vita.
That's another reason, like, I would wait for that bundle to come to the U.S. and I'm like, I want a Vita. They're going to be doing a lot of interaction. Why not just pay? Yeah. So that's like, to me, I'm like, if you haven't purchased one, and you can wait. It's like there's nothing really out for it right now. Like I was even talking to a buddy, Josh, last night. He's playing Assassin's Creed 4 on his PC. And it's the best it's beating all the graphics looking on the new consoles because it's just PC based, and he literally just pops in his Xbox controller and he can just play it like that. So it's like, you know, but he even said he's like, he might not even get any of the next gen consoles, just because he's like, I could play pretty much everything on the PC. You know, I mean, even Titanfall I think is coming out for the PC as well. So it's like, if you have the computer for it, you might just want to wait and get a couple of the games just for your PC until, I mean, unless when it's the exclusives. I mean, it's like we've been saying, it's like there's so many things out there. Like we even said, there's the you can get cheap this year for Christmas if you want, which Meltdown, if you haven't played yet, is really fun.
Oh, cool.
We should probably take a peek into that next time.
And they still have their deal going on right now where if you want just the classic, it's $89.99, and then if you want the new version, it's only like $129 for
the holiday one, which is nice. But
I mean, right there, $129, and like, there's so many great games for it, and like that's the same thing. Nintendo, there's so many great games out for it,
and has a lot of games that are just free.
Yeah, you just play them.
You just download and play. So I mean, they got really cool stuff. Now they finally give release date. I'm not sure if it's coming out for Xbox One as well. I think it just might be coming out for a 360. But Fable Anniversary is finally coming out. Their bonus contents, everything will be available February 4th.
That's right. It says that's the one that's the remake of the first one.
Yeah.
With some added elements. Yeah, I think like I heard that it was going to be out for one because you can just download it off the marketplace, but I don't think it's going to be specifically like designed for one. Like how, like, you know, some games are like they've heightened the rendering or done this or done that because of the capabilities. Nothing like that. So it's basically going to look the same. But I think it will be out for both by the time it releases.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's coming out. It's going to be the Fable Anniversary Edition. They obviously did that with the Halo, which is funny, though, because you think, oh, how much are they going to improve on it? And literally, since you can switch back and forth with the anniversary of Halo, you think they didn't really improve that much. And then you literally see the old, you're like, holy crap. So, I like Halo. Yeah, I like Halo. I like Fable, so this should be an interesting game. I mean, I still got to finish Fable 3, or basically start Fable 3, but...
that one, I think I went around and shook hands for like an hour, and then I was like, all right, I'll see you later. And that's as much as I got done with that one.
Yeah, like I think I got to the first town, I got to the first town, and then it's like, you need to talk to people. I'm like, yeah, fuck this.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it got to, like, I don't think I was in the mindset for it, because I remember Fable 2, I was just like...
Well, Fable 2 started you off, and, like, right off the bat, you're like, oh, you're the Chosen. You, like, had the temple, and you had a chest you could open, and there's weapons and trolls you could fight. Like, there was so much shit you could do in that game that you were like, oh, right. You know, and Fable 1, same thing. Like, oh, shit, things went down, and, like, you were in the academy training. Like, it seemed like there was some progression, and in this one, you're like, you're a rich, spoiled kid. Go shake hands with people or not. And then it's just like, all right. And then it's like, then it builds after, but it does take quite a while for it to kind of build up.
Now, this is a story I ran across, and I didn't even realize it happened. I think I literally only own, like, one of their games.
Yeah.
Was it Terminal Reality? It looks like it went out of business.
Yeah, Terminal, I think, is it Realty or Reality? Yeah, one of those. It's, it just finally closed down.
They were the guys who gave us the Ghostbusters video game, which is the only game that I bought, I think, from them.
Right.
But it was fantastic.
Yeah,
I love
there's
that
a few
game.
other ones that they did that were just kind of like, they did them and they were good, but there wasn't anything that's really been like, I mean, they just haven't done anything in a while, and unfortunately, it is the way of most independent game developers.
Yeah, and it looks like
bought out by other companies.
But it looks like some of the games they have done was like Walking Dead.
Yeah, they did the episode or something one. They did the one that's like not the one that Telltale did. Like
it wasn't. It is weird. It's not the Activision.
Yeah,
it wasn't the Activision one. It wasn't the Telltale one. It was literally one, I think, for Connect.
Yeah, something like that.
And then they did the Star Wars Connects, which also the Star Wars Connects, like, it had so much promise with it, but when it came out, it just flopped. Like, not too many things. But yeah, the only one that I own was and still own is the Ghostbusters video game, which I thought was amazing, and it kind of sucks that it closed down, I guess. But then again, I'm also like, well, they only.
Well, that's the thing with movie properties, though, is they can take their business anywhere. Like,
I
want to do another Ghostbuster game, and there's a million game companies out there that
which I really hope they do, because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess they opened in 1994.
Oh yeah.
So, and then it looks like they closed down in December of this year. So we'll say goodbye to them. Did you know anybody at Terminal?
I knew a guy named Glenn. We didn't like him, but we knew him in college. Tavis and I, there was this guy Glenn that like he just had like the most. He had a criticism, like constructive criticism, but he was very like, well, I would do it this way. And it's like, well, you're in the same level as us. Like, you're a fucking student at a school. Like, you have no fucking clue. So what ended up happening
he has no fucking job.
Well, now he doesn't have a job. But what was funny is, like, TJ and I were talking about when we were trying to do the Bakemono Hunter, that Ghostbuster clip came out from, like, the E3 that year. And sure enough, also I'm like, that's not no. And, like, sure enough, he had gotten a job, I guess, as, like, their tester.
Mm-hmm.
And then had worked his way up into, like, whatever position they had him as there. So
yeah.
Like, all right, well, like, good for him. But you know, obviously it's like one of those things where we knew him, and then I know my friend Darren works on Guild Wars 2, and then Griff, was working on, he's worked on Fear, like Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron.
I still gotta get the sequel to that.
And now he's on another company, and I don't even know what he's working on now.
So. But yeah, I mean, that's like, it's just, that's the kind of stuff that happened. I was trying to remember if that was the guy, it was because when I saw the story, I'm like, oh, isn't that the company of the guy that no one liked?
Yeah. We had him. We even put him in our game doc that we had to make for college. We had a game Blaster or something or other that Davis did all the art for, and we ended up creating a character called Glean that was like this like little blue alien that just like was like annoying. Like, he was like the Navi, like he was gonna be your fairy.
Oh yeah.
In that game, just like completely annoying and be like, well, you should have done it this way, you know, like kind of thing. And like, and he never caught on. Like, he's like, oh, I like that character a lot. I was like, well, yeah, it's
I bet you do, you dumb fucking.
But I mean, he was a cool kid. He was all right. You know, he was an all right person. But it was just one of those like, I don't understand that mindset of like talking down to people, but who are, if not the same, if not more than what you've done in the same level of education.
We had this conversation. In fact, since the one guy we had on the show last night, Kevin, he does inappropriate podcasts.
He on the 4-Eyed Radio.
Yeah, but he just got recently back into stand up, and then I asked him where does he do his stand up, and he says, "Oh, the Comedy Spot in Scottsdale, not the."
Right,
one that even, which is funny because we talked about that, and he even agrees that guy's a complete dick.
Yeah, he has a cunt face dick.
Cunt face dick. But yeah, so we were talking. So I think I'm going to go up this Wednesday with him, and we're going to do an open mic thing. But then we convinced Matt and Eric have to do an open mic with us in January.
Oh, nice.
And I go, look, don't just come up with some stuff. Just it's 5 minutes. Just do it and have fun. Like, you know, we'll see what happens or whatnot. So, so I'll get in contact with him to see where it is, what time I need to be there. So I'm just doing like a minor stuff. I'm not expecting people to show up. I just want to kind of get back out there and everything like that. But yeah, we were talking about like, you know, most comedians like we hate that. I never ever and hope never to be that kind of person who sits there and just crosses his arm and be like, oh, I'm funnier than this guy, I'm gonna never joke here. It's like, dude, just look. Everybody's doing it, and it's like either you're gonna laugh at it because it's funny, or you're not gonna laugh at it. But don't go in the mindset of you're funnier than everybody in the world, because there's always gonna be somebody either funnier than you or have a different take on something that you're like, oh, that's.
Well, that was the big thing in art school too, because you go there and you're like, oh, I'm pretty good, and then like you get there and you see people who are like 10 times better, and then just knowing that there's somebody else who's 10 times better than that person,
it makes you want to. Okay, I could do better.
Shoot for the stars.
Exactly. Shoot for the stars. Go bang.
We gotta work on that. I was gonna send you some.
So you posted this story. Here's why I just bought a Wii U instead of a PS4 or an Xbox One.
Yeah, this was that. We were just talking about it before about how the alternatives this year for online for your holiday shopping, and I mean, if people weighed out a lot of pros on it. It was a good article because it was by the guys from BusinessInsider.com. They are kind of like Kotaku for me. They're more neutral when it comes to like reporting. You know, they're not there being like, "Hey, Nintendo just sponsored us. Let's talk about Nintendo."
Yeah.
They're more like into what the news is reporting.
This podcast is brought to you by Nintendo.
He pointed out right here, like $2.99 for a Wii U Deluxe Edition with Zelda, the Wind Waker remastered, and he's like, that game is $49.99 on its own, and he's like, and you get it for free, and he's like, and that's well worth the price of that game because it's such a good game.
Yeah.
He talks all about how like the bundles that they have are awesome, the gameplay. He knows he can play with his kid and not have to worry about like, oh well, now I gotta change the settings because there's like blood and gore and stuff. Like he can just leave it. He talked about the new Mario just getting like tons of feedback from people being like, it's a fun game. Like,
everybody who showed up at our holiday party sat down and played it and was just like, this is just fun, this is just amazing. And it's just funny because you get to see how like a lot of people get to play. You get to see some people like, we're going to work as a team, or you're going to see that one person, and there's always that one person that was like, fuck you guys, they just kind of run through everything.
And what was cool is in the article is like he was playing the Batman Arkham in it.
Oh yeah,
on it. So, but he had his two boys with him playing it, and obviously like someone came home and they wanted to use the TV, so he's like, "Come on, guys!" So then they just like were sitting around. He said like it was the greatest thing because like we're in my son's room like playing, and we're all just like hovering around this little screen like playing it together. And he goes the system itself is like a very family oriented like. Play with your friends, like he knows the friends that he's playing with online, like he knows the kids like in the neighborhood, so when he sees like, oh, Jeremy's on, like he talks like, oh, how is Jeremy, like how was class going, blah blah blah. So he says it's like it really like adds that feel of camaraderie amongst like a family with games.
Yeah, and that's the cool part because like a Monster Hunter 3 Unlimited, I have that for, and you can play online with people with that. And the cool part is you don't have to go out and buy a headset because if you're playing with the gamepad, it has a built-in mic.
Right.
So you can just sit there and talk, and then they just talk right back to you through the thing. So I thought that was a really cool idea. You can get the headset if you want. If you don't want, you just want to
look cool.
If you want to look cool. but especially the 3D Mario World came out, and that's just been like getting rave reviews. Everyone's like, this is like the game to own, like if you're getting a Wii U, definitely get this game. Pikmin 3, I told you they're releasing downloadable content for this. It's like the first time Nintendo has done that, which I think is great for them because this is like they realize there is a market for that. And what I like about their literally their DLCs, $2.99, $1.99. Like it's not crazy, ridiculous. And the cool part is there was a guy literally in the airport playing Pikmin 3 without a TV. He just hooked his system up and was just playing on the gamepad.
Oh, yeah?
Like in an airport.
Oh, sweet.
It was like, holy crap. So it's like there's like literally you could just like I can do that with the new Super Mario Brothers game. I can do that with the new 3D. I think the only one you can't really do it if it's like back and forth. Like you can do it even with the HD Zelda if you wanted to. But like even I was talking to people with the interface with that system. It's just like how all your items are there and you can go through and pick and stuff. And they really did that interface with the new Zelda game on the 3DS. So it's just like they're really using that gamepad to its full potential. Like I really thought it was just going to be like, oh, I'm just watching the same thing, but with certain games there is like, oh, okay,
quite a bit of
it's a really good feature because it's like, oh, I don't have to keep, because I literally popped in the old Wind Waker on the GameCube because I still own that, and I was trying to see, oh, how much of an improvement they did. Graphic-wise, yes, they did a huge improvement on graphics. It's HD, they redid it, but literally even the control scheme, it's like you're sailing your boat, and you're like, oh, am I going the right way? You have to pause it, you have to go through your map, and then go, oh, I've been going the wrong way for like 2 minutes. Like, you jump in your boat in this, it's like your map's right there, it's on the thing, you don't have to memorize the, like, his conducting thing. Like, as soon as you pull out your conductor, it gives you all the music scores, and you just, like, can look off of that and do it. It's like, they did such a great job with the innovation with this Wii Pad, which I know a lot of people when it came out were like, "Oh, this is stupid. This is no," but then it's like tablets.
Yeah.
Like all the tablets just came out. Like I mean, sure there was the iPad and everything like that, but like all of these, it's like, and even that the sports thing that came out, like the little game night or whatever it's called for the Wii U. Like we saw a little commercial with
Yeah, the sports, like, whatever, it's like Wii U.
Yeah, they're like doing all the cool stuff just on the pad and things like that. And a great thing Nintendo's doing this year is, okay, right now, up until January 31st, you get a free trial of the new Wii U Fit. So if you still have your Wii Fit board,
bam,
you can play that. They also gave you a downloadable demo. It only has the 2 games, bowling and I believe tennis.
Oh, sweet.
But it's the new Wii U Sports. And the cool part is, I watched the trailer on it, you can now play online. So if you and I are over here, and Mom and Dad had one, we can literally play doubles online like that. So they are doing the online gaming with it and stuff like that. Yeah, they're really improving. And I love their online community. Like I told you, like literally you're playing like the new Mario game, and you can be like, oh, this level's really hard. You can leave like, oh, this is a spoiler, so you can click on the spoiler so it doesn't ruin it for anybody. I mean, there's just so much like
content.
Great stuff, yeah, content for this system that I'm just all like, as much as everyone's I hate like when people are like, oh, Nintendo's not doing well and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? You guys got your ass kicked by a system that wasn't even HD graphics.
Yeah, it just came out
for the last couple of years. Okay, just the Wii. The Wii kicked all your butts with all your high definition and things like that. It's like, why? Because Nintendo knows how to literally focus on gameplay.
Yeah, they're focusing
and
on
stories and all that kind of stuff.
Games.
Like, as much as you want to say, like, and again, everyone gave shit to Nintendo last year. They don't have any games out for it. Yeah, guess who doesn't have any games out for it right now as well?
And the games you have are really kind of weird. Like, I don't know if you saw that clip about the boobs from Rise.
No.
There's a clip out there where they're showing, like, okay, high-def graphics. They're talking, like, modern, like, symmetry. And obviously these game developers should know human anatomy.
Uh-huh.
So they do this thing where, like, I guess this spirit creature is coming to talk to you about, like, your fate in the Rise game.
Yeah.
And she's walking, and, like, her chest and everything, like, first she's, like, breathing, like, with her shoulders.
Uh-huh.
And then, like, her chest is, like, going like this. And it was, like, to the point where people were like, what is going on with this character? And, like, people were chiming in enough that it's, like, kind of killed the game because it happens in a lot of different spots.
Jeez.
Where, like, a character walks and, like, he's supposed to have, like, this thing swaying. And instead it goes, like, forward and back. And it's like, that doesn't, like, work that way. So there's, like, a lot of things talking about, like, all these next-gen titles, like, still are getting things completely wrong. He goes, but then, like, you look at Nintendo and they just keep, like, making sure, like, whatever they put out has quality. Like,
well, that's what
I
love.
If you're gonna buy a $49 Zelda game, they're gonna make sure it's like a quality $49.
Well, that's what I love about it. It's like even with the new Super Mario 3D World, this is the first 3D game, like, you know, running around in 3D, 3 dimensions. But it's in HD, kind of like the first Mario game in HD, and it looks phenomenal, and just stuff like that. It's just like, you can see, like, when Mario jumps up in the air and he has the Kanuki suit, like, they put their hands out, you see all their fingers, like, just all the different, like, high definition, even, like, the fur on the cat suit. There's even, I got to certain levels where it's, like, raining, and it gets on the screen, and everything's, like, wet, and it looks fantastic. You're just like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's just, like, so amazing how far, like, Nintendo has come just with this. And I'm sitting there literally going, like, okay, we're going to get another Mario Galaxy? It's like, that would be phenomenal. Like, I want to still get my copies back, because I accidentally traded the one in because I still never beat Mario Galaxy 2, but I remember how fun those games were, just like, even with those graphics that were in just that 3D environment, and just how much fun it is. It's like, especially like literally sitting down, that was the cool part. We all sat down, we're playing this game, and then some of us are like, oh, I'm going to get up for a bit or whatnot, and you can drop out.
Yeah,
you don't have to worry about the game didn't interrupt, no one stopped, stuff like that, and then sure enough, as soon as you come back, you're like, oh, I'm going to jump back in again, and stuff like that. And it's just fun, just watching everybody enjoy this console. And literally, like, people are like, he's like, or my friend Chris Mills was like, I'm going to get one of these. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's a lot cheaper than what's out there now. And
is this their little commercial to show?
Yeah, I think it's just some game footage and stuff that he has for the different things.
Oh yeah, I played the demo of this.
Yeah, they were showing like, as in, like, this is another great game that's coming up for it.
Yeah,
and I mean, just watching that commercial, I'm like, that looks pretty sick. Like, that looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, this one I played the demo with it. It's actually pretty interesting. Like, trying to figure out.
Yeah, the Wonderful
everything.
101.
Yeah, the Wonderful 101. It's like you're a bunch of superheroes. Like, it's like a school or whatnot, and then like all this shit just starts attacking world.
But I mean, it's like graphically, like, I'm just sitting there blown away by, like, wow, that looks really good. Like,
yeah,
it looks like a lot of fun to play. Yeah, a lot of action, a lot of things moving on.
Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff going on. So I mean, Nintendo, like, as much as everybody just wants to throw these people out because of like, oh, you're not okay, I'm sorry. as much as ever, I know Atari, ColecoVision, they were before Nintendo, but Nintendo literally made video gaming a household item. Like,
well, then what's funny is someone brought up a great post the other day. It was like some guy like having this like most like cheery look to him, just kind of like really judging, and he was like, oh, you call yourself a hardcore gamer, like, oh, I've played like Halo on like Legendary, blah blah blah, and then all it shows is like a table full of like I want to say about 4 or 5 kids, like with wizards hats on and like shields and stuff, and they're playing D&D, and it just says bitch please, like, you know, like there's always a hardcore gamer, like there's always somebody who's harder core than you were.
Yeah.
Like, so like I understand, like if you're like a huge like Nintendo buff, like to me that's hardcore. Like that's like I play Zelda all the way through, I get all the hearts, I do this, I do that.
Yeah.
Like to you that's hardcore. Like,
hey,
to
I
some
put it
other
this
people,
way: you want to be a hardcore gamer? Try finishing Super Mario Lost Worlds, which is technically supposed to be the original Super Mario 2, but it was way too hard for American players. That's why we got the Super Mario 2 that we did, which is actually the just resprited Doki Doki Panic. But yeah, you ever try playing Lost Levels? That shit is hard.
Oh,
so you guys want to play that and get back to me.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like to me,
No, literally,
I don't understand.
Go play it right now.
I'm going
Go.
after these messages. Copenhagen.
Yeah, Copenhagen. Brought to you by Copenhagen. But yeah, no. So I mean, you sat down, you played it. We played a 4-player mode. We all enjoyed it. With Super Mario 3D
I thought
World.
it was slick. Like I liked, even like you pointed out, like each character has their own little nats to it, like their own little like, oh, she jumps this one, that. But what I really liked more about it was like it's like they kind of changed it up where it's like, oh, you're not having to rescue the princess all the time or this or that. Like they've added some elements that's like, okay, yeah, like it is more of like just going and hanging out with your friends and doing stuff like passing the level, like, and then it also becomes fun because then it's like who can like when the green star like appears or like when the green coins appear, like everyone's working together to get them. It's never just like one person doing something.
Yeah.
And then like with the flag jump at the end, that's kind of like that's like your challenge to one another. Can you do it? Like can you jump the?
Yeah, who can get higher up and everything like that,
Exactly,
which is
so.
kind of fun. And it's just fun. It's just like it's just a great game to play with the family and stuff like that. Which is funny because a lot of people, I guess, the commercial for it doesn't do it justice. Because a lot of people were talking about that. They're like, yeah, I saw the gameplay commercial, and I don't know, it just didn't look too much fun. I'm like, dude, you have to like sit down and play this. It's like it's great.
It's amazing.
I guess before we go, do we have a question of the week this week?
Yeah, we haven't been doing one. I figured with the holiday, like I know you guys did one. Like, what are you most excited for or asking for the holidays? Like, I guess we should just do that, like 2014. Like, what's the game that you're most excited for to see?
We can do that next week, because I was thinking of next week, probably be our last show before Christmas.
The New Year and the Christmas.
Actually, it'll be like literally, I think it's Christmas Eve it'll be released. So I guess we could just do our gaming picks of what game we really enjoyed this year, where we think knocked it out of the gates.
Yeah, like
what we were blown away by. You know, we'll kind of do our own kind of video game awards of what we played, what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought like. What was the point of this hype or stuff like that? So, because there was a lot of like I still rave about them. I think like the 2 best games that came out this year was like the games that were reboots, the Tomb Raider and the Devil May Cry. I was just like blown away by those 2 reboots. And
definitely, I think Tomb Raider was probably one of the most hyped because it was one that was like, oh wow, they took her in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
And then, God, what was the other ones? Borderlands 2 probably for me because that came out this year. So.
Yeah, that was good. But Kyle, where can they find you?
They can find me at Mooney Studios on Twitter, and of course www.mooneystudios.com, and always you can check us out at arcade-bros.com. Check out our gamer tags, all that fun stuff, and leave us comments on the reviews and everything else.
Yeah, because the latest review just went up for the new Legend of Zelda game.
How about you, Steve? Where can they find you at?
You can find me at Stephen Mooney Jr. on the Twitter. Also follow us at arcade_bros. Also, of course, the website for reviews, gaming news, and podcasts. Also, don't forget to check out all of our other great shows on the 4i Radio Network. And I think that's about it. So until next time, kiddos, keep on gaming, Copenhagen. This has been another fine production of the 4i Radio Network. For more great shows, check out www.4iradio.com. Copenhagen. Indeed! Starring Steve Ball.